Hi, welcome to the channel. My name's Michelle. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things to feed your chickens in the winter to keep them happy and healthy, and most importantly, warm. If you're new to the channel and you just found this video because you searched that exact topic, how to keep your chickens warm and happy and healthy in the winter, you're like me. We live in a very cold climate in the winter time. It's the beautiful mountains of British Columbia, Canada. My chickens free range all summer. They have full access to the 3.5 acres that we have here, but in the winter they don't. So it's extremely important to make sure that they have all the things that they need to keep them healthy, content, warm, supplemented, alive when it's minus 20, minus 15, minus 20 degrees Celsius outside. So I'm going to take you inside to my kitchen and I'm going to show you what I feed them in the winter and how I prepare it. We have an entire playlist dedicated to chickens on our channel. I'll link it in the description. I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment, hit the like button, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Number one is fermented grains. So what I have here is buckwheat and red winter wheat. You can buy that at a local feed store. I pour a little bit into a mason jar separately. So I've got the buckwheat in one and I have the red wheat in the other. When you ferment the grains for the chickens, it provides probiotics, vitamins and minerals that they desperately need in the winter. Next step is to just grab a jug of some water, just so it covers it a couple inches above. Grab a spoon, give it a little stir. Grab the lids, your mason jar lids, just the top part, and place it. And then you just let them sit on your counter for a couple of days. You can do 1 day or up to 3 days. This is what it looks like when they've sat on the counter. I think these ones were on the counter for about 2 days. So it'll have a little bit of a fermentation looking foam at the top. That's what you want. That's where the good probiotics are. Give it a smell. It should smell a little skunky. That's good. Give it a stir. Grab a bowl and a sieve. Strain out most of the water, not all of the water. And you can mix them together here, it's not a problem. You want to keep a little bit of that juicy goodness in there because again, that's where the probiotics are. So just give it a light strain, grab a container, pour everything into the container, and then you can easily store that in the fridge and use what you need. Next up we have greens. So greens are something that the chickens are not able to forage for in the winter, but it's a very important part of their diet. This is actually my favorite thing that my chickens like. So there's 2 ways that I do this. I actually grow microgreens. I will link the video on how to do that in the description. These are pak choy microgreens that I grew in this big tray, and they are for our personal consumption, but you can cut out a little square and feed that to your chickens. Microgreens have tons of nutrients, actually more than regular greens that you would buy or even grow in your garden. I also use any kind of vegetable scraps that I have from cooking. So the ends of peppers, broccoli ends. I will blend that up in my food processor so it's bite-sized pieces for the chickens, and I will also add that Number 3 is oats. So these would be what you would make porridge with. Oats are a carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are important to keep the chickens warm in the winter. So while they're digesting it, they're actually generating energy inside of them, which keeps them warm. I just add some oats to the bowl. They really enjoy this. Just a little sprinkle. Number 4, we have black oil sunflower seeds. These you can buy at your local feed store. Black oil sunflower seeds are a source of fat, which the chickens need for the winter, and it translates to warmth as they digest them. And it also aids in egg production. Black oil sunflower seeds, chickens love them, really cheap to buy at your feed store. Add that to your bowl. Number 5 is dried bugs, otherwise known as fly larvae. This I buy in a package from the feed store. I'll show you what it looks like. They're little tiny bugs, black fly bugs. So this is what they're not being able to forage when there's 4 feet of snow on the ground. This is what they need. They love bugs. Bugs are a major source of protein for them, which then translates into warmth because they're digesting it, and they just absolutely love them. I feed these to my chickens all year round just as an extra treat, but definitely in the winter they're going to need this because there's just not going to be any bugs for them to eat. So we'll add that to the bowl. Next up, and this is probably something that you're already feeding your chickens, is a high quality pellet food. So just head down to your local feed store. You can get it in large pellets or crushed pellets. This is a well-balanced protein, mineral, vitamin mix that chickens need. It's pre-made, it's easy to feed them. I think they also need all the other things that I'm mentioning in this video, but it's definitely something that you add to their food and add to their diet, just to make sure that they're getting enough of everything. Number 7 is cracked corn. Now, I think this is actually one of the most important things to feed chickens, and I only feed this to my chickens in the winter. I give it to them for a snack towards the end of the night. The benefits of cracked corn, it's harder for them to digest it. So their body's going to work harder. If you feed it to them in the evening, they're going to be working to digest it overnight, which is going to create heat in their body and keep them warmer while they're sleeping. I'll put it in the bowl now, but I usually sprinkle it on their table in their coop, and when I come in the morning it's completely gone, so I know that they like it, and I have noticed that it does definitely keeps them warmer. Number 8 is apple cider vinegar. So this you can buy pretty much any grocery store. You want to get the one that says with the mother. Give it a shake. Get your little bowl, water bowl, and I put about half a capful into the water. The chickens can't taste it, and what the apple cider vinegar does is it's a major immune booster. You can do your research on that. Apple cider vinegar is just a wonderful product, and it keeps the chickens healthier. It keeps their immune systems higher. It's kind of like the equivalent of us taking some vitamin C in the winter. Number 9 is calcium. So this is especially important for your laying hens. What I do is I buy cracked oyster coral shells from my local feed store. They're ground down into small little pellets so that the chickens can consume them easily. The important part about adding calcium to the chicken's diet in the winter is, again, because they can't forage for anything that contains calcium. Hens, chickens in general, will seek out calcium. Lays an egg, it's 90% calcium, so they need to replenish that every time they lay an egg. So it's also good for healthy bones. It helps in egg production. It keeps the eggshells hard. So if you've ever had a hen lay an egg that has a really soft shell or has sort of like a gritty texture on the eggshell, you'll know that your hens are going to need some extra calcium. I put this out separately because I do have a rooster. He doesn't necessarily need it. He can have it if he wants it. But I keep it in a separate bowl in the coop, and I noticed that my hens help themselves to it quite a bit. And finally, our most important supplement and additive to give your chickens in the winter time is grit. And this is something surprisingly a lot of people don't know. So grit is just finely ground particles. When they are free ranging in the summer, they will find grit in dirt, sand, when they're digging around. What they need it for is breaking down their food in their crop. So the crop is where the food gets stored when they eat it, because the chickens obviously don't have teeth to grind the food down like we do to start the digestion process. The grit helps them digest it. So it breaks everything down, kind of like a little excavator inside their crop. It helps them digest it more easily and keeps them more healthy. So the grit I sprinkle around in their coop. I put it around where their food is, and then they can just sort of help themselves. I'll sprinkle a little bit in the bowl here. Okay, so this is my chicken dinner for my wonderful chicken. It's a full and complete meal with everything that they love and need to keep them happy and healthy in the winter. Let's bring it out to them and see how they like it.